We are Baltimore. We are MC.
After a soggy, successful evening in the Queen City, the first-place Royals head to Boston. The last two American League champs are trending in different directions, but the Sox have had the Royals' number lately. KC looks to break the Beantown curse. Next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Academy Sports and Outdoors presents Royals Baseball. Tonight from Boston, Massachusetts and Fenway Park, it's the American League Central leading Kansas City Royals and the Boston Red Sox. Hi, everybody. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler with you. This road trip has started well. 2 victories in Cincinnati, but combined, those 2 wins took over 8 hours to play, and the Royals didn't get into Boston until 5 a.m.
It's just another thread in the fabric of this grand game. Baseball's beautiful. Feed those guys a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Watch them go.
Well, Ben Zobrist has been eating his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches the way he's been playing. He's been outstanding.
He sure has, Fizz. You know, if there's ever been a handsy hitter, he's the guy. Really has a good foundation. Now every hitter has to have a good base. But look at that. Just throwing his hands at the ball. Wherever that ball is thrown, he hits it there. Very smart hitter. Both sides of the plate. He's been everything they've expected out of him and more.
And he has been the most patient of the Royal hitters. And as you take a look at our Toyota League leaders, 507 on-base percentage in August. Brantley is in second place, and David Ortiz has been remarkably hot for the Red Sox.
Yeah, you know, but still, Fizz, he's always been a patient hitter, but what that's doing is it's transferring on to the rest of the players. The players are all getting it. They're all feeding.
Of August.
Yes, he's firing. Talking about hands, that is exactly how Ortiz is getting it done. Now, he may be 40 years old, but look, he doesn't have to use his body to generate enough to get it going. Big Papi is slowing the game down and popping those hands through the zone.
David Ortiz tonight against a Royal lefty. And when we come back, Joel and Monty will talk about tonight's starting pitcher, Danny Duffy. It's the Royals and Red Sox coming your way next.
Park, and right outside of the visiting dugout, Joel Goldberg alongside of Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. And for the Royals, Danny Duffy will go to the hill. Gone are the days of wondering, well, what Danny are we going to see tonight? He's been awfully consistent, our Honda most trusted player. And Monty, in his last 3 starts, overall the numbers very good. What's been the key for him?
Well, he knows how to use his defense, Joel, and I think the fact that he's pitching inside much more effective, using that breaking ball, setting up his fastball. But overall, Danny Duffy's matured as a young man, and on the mound, very qualified pitcher, now goes out and doesn't get rattled. I like the way that he uses the defense and stays in control and calm on that mound.
And one of those starts was his shortest since May. He only went 3 1/3. That was that really hot day in Kansas City. But the other starts, 1 run in each of those. And it's not just recent. Go back to 2013 American League ERA leaders. He's in some great company here. Everybody knows about guys like Sonny Gray, Felix Hernandez, and Chris Sale. Maybe Danny Duffy has emerged.
Well, that's the thing about Danny. What you see is what you get with Danny. So I think you're going to see this guy, as long as he stays healthy, be in this type of company for a long time in his career. And that's why the Royals really stuck with Danny Duffy. Through the injuries, through all he went through, they stuck with Danny and it's paid off.
The Royals arrived to their hotel about 14 hours ago, 5 in the morning East Coast time, after a sweep in Cincinnati. They slept fast and ready to go against the Boston Red Sox. Viz and HUD have the call of the first pitch coming up next.
You play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Visit your local Kansas City area Chevy dealers for great prices on all our new 2015 vehicles today. And by Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. Welcome back to Fenway Park, a baseball yard that debuted in 1912. The Royals are 31-26 on the road this year, and Ned Yost's lineup will have Alcides Escobar leading things off. We talked about Ben Zobrist, how hot he has been with Kansas City, but so too has Kane and Hosmer, HUD.
Yeah, and how about Morales? Last night's the first game he's missed. I mean, it absolutely missed him. It didn't even get a chance to pinch hit, but still, very dangerous lineup for Miley.
Wade Miley this year, 9 wins, 9 losses. He's been sensational in the victories, but an ERA over 9 in the 9 losses.
Yeah, you see those 52 walks, so he's got more walks than anybody on the Red Sox staff, so he can be effectively wild. But as far as his pitches go, fastball 89-92. He's not overpowering. He's got a 4 and 2 seam fastball. He'll sink it. And he likes to use that pitch after he sets up with his curve and slider. He's got a good changeup he'll use, and he's not afraid to use that in fastball counts, that changeup.
He has 106 strikeouts in 139 and 2/3 innings this year. Escobar had a very good series against Cincinnati. He was on base 6 times, a couple of walks, 4 hits, and that was great to see because he had a on-base percentage under 23 on the homestand, albeit very successful homestand at the K, and he sends one back up the middle for a base hit.
We know the Royals, they feast on fastballs out over the middle of the plate, but it's the secondary pitches for Miley that if he's going to be successful tonight, he's got to be able to get those over and work them. Now, they haven't had the best defense out there, and it's not easy when you have Ramirez, who's playing left field, and that's a very tough field to play. We'll see how Paulo Orlando of the Royals does out there, but it's not easy. Hanley's had his handful.
Yeah, I was watching Ramirez take balls off the wall in Boston's batting practice earlier today, and he has been criticized for his play out there. He was an infielder in the past, both shortstop and third baseman. Now Ben Zobrist going after the first pitch, strike 1. What a series he had in Cincinnati, 6 for 11. He had a home run in game 1 that tied the game in the 9th inning that the Royals would win in 13.
It's rare you see him swinging a first pitch.
The Royals always a threat to go, but Wade Miley has a very good move.
Yeah, you know, he's going to be able to hold him close to the bag. I don't think Escobar's too concerned about steals. And he hasn't really been the same since Everett Laurie took him out early in the season. But Zobrist feeds off of Escobar. When Escobar gets on base, it ignites him and the rest of the team. Miley has 5 pickoffs this year to go along with that nice move.
And opponents only 1 for 4 stealing bases against Miley in 2015. Now, Wade had a very good game against Kansas City back at the K. But last year, as a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks, he gave up a career high 10 runs in a Royals victory. Well, the Sox gave him plenty of run support in his last outing as they beat Seattle 22-10. 22 runs, and the starting pitcher that night for Seattle was Felix Hernandez. Escobar with 12 steals in 17 attempts.
Zobrist being aggressive.
That looks like 2. And it will be Josh Rutledge to Xander Bogaerts to Travis Shaw. 2 outs. Ed Yost thinking about challenging it.
It's pretty close there. Nice turn. Xander Bogaerts, he's a young and upcoming shortstop. Just another one of the many young talented shortstops we've seen.
Now Lorenzo Cain. He is 7th in the American League in batting at .311. Has a career high of 54 RBIs. He had 53 last year. He had a couple of RBIs in yesterday's 3-1 victory, 4-3 victory. Foul.
It's the right approach on the curveball. But you know, it's very imposing, that left field wall here, the Green Monster. And all right-handed hitters, when you're up there at the plate, you see that. And you're going to take a good rip on anything middle in, and especially elevated.
It's a 37-foot high wall, and then in center field you've got a wall that is 17 feet. So it's a long drive to straightaway center, but down that left field line, it's barely 300 feet, even though it's listed further. And I've talked to countless pitchers who are sure that's like 295 feet down that left field line. It says 310. I don't know.
Oh, well, you know what? If they ever see anybody out there with a tape or walking it off or trying to measure it, they quickly stop you. So nobody really knows for sure.
I remember watching Jerry Royce, who wears a size 12 shoe as a pitcher, marked off from third base and was going foot over foot, and the grounds crew came after him, stopped him, and said, "What do you think you're doing?"
There you go.
The 2-2 pitch from Miley is a breaking ball low and inside, and Rex, he'll go more with the slider than he will with the curve, right?
Right. Curveball he'll use second, third time through. And that's always important for a pitcher when you have 4 pitches. You know, you don't want to show everything in the first inning. You got to save some weapons for later, depending on what that hitter's doing to your fastball and slider. Good change there.
And Wade Miley strikes out Lorenzo Cain. The Royals done in their half of the first. We'll see Boston's lineup when we come back. The Royals really like what they've seen from Danny Duffy since coming off the disabled list with left biceps tendonitis. Rex, he has an ERA of under 2.9 since coming off the DL.
Danny's drawing something in the back of the mound there, like some pitchers do. But you know, you're right, Fizz. He's really calmed down. The best thing that we've seen from Danny Duffy here this season is he's been able to channel his emotions and control that energy. He's high strung, and for the first few outings that we saw in his career, we were like, wow, you know, he was really breathing heavy and not able to control those emotions, and that will affect the pitcher, but he's definitely calmed down.
And it appears that he's no longer going for the strikeouts, that he's just trying to get outs. He trusts his defense, which is the best in baseball, and we're seeing marvelous plays turned behind him by Kansas City's D because Duffy's keeping it down, and Escobar and the guys are doing their thing. Mookie Betts is the leadoff batter. And this team really playing well lately. Paulo Orlando will have to trap the baseball. He did a marvelous job holding Betts to only one base.
Yeah, Paulo getting his first start out there in left field. It'll be a test for him. Duffy right down the middle. When it's in the middle, it's going to get hit. Paulo, nice try, but able to keep it in front of him on the hop.
And for Royal fans who remember that series back at Kauffman Stadium, Betts was unbelievable, going 9 for 14, so he continues his hot hitting against Kansas City, 10 for 15 this year. And here is Pablo Sandoval, who's batting from the left side. He used to be a switch hitter. Now batting left. Fouls it back and only hitting .198 versus left-handers. As we take a look at the Boston lineup, it will be Betts, Sandoval, and then Bogaerts, who's been so hot. David Ortiz, ridiculously hot. He is 21 for his last 42.
Yeah, they've got some good players, and they've always played the Royals tough. So for Danny Duffy, though, his fastball, it's a good one. He's going to average out about 93, but we'll see some 94s, 5s, and possibly 96. But he's, like you mentioned earlier, he's being able to pitch to contact. And one of the things that really is a tail sign of that is he's induced 15 ground ball double plays this year.
Love that.
Yeah, so he's taking a little off. His breaking pitch is a good one. It's a combination, slurvy, curve type combination. Pretty good break to it. And he's got a nice effective changeup. You know, and Duffy's previous career high in inducing ground ball double plays was just 7. And that was last year. So the fact that he's really taking some pitches off and staying down in the zone has helped him a lot.
Sandoval was reaching for that one. Rex, do you remember the game right after the All-Star break in Chicago? It was on a Sunday. Duffy went 8 innings. But as Danny said afterwards, he goes, man, I found out my defense was incredible. It was that Sunday where Escobar turned in 4 web gems.
Yeah, and you know, any pitcher is going to respond to that type of defense, but especially the Royals. Whether you're a starter or a reliever, whenever that ball's put in play, that defense is very trustworthy, and they make spectacular plays.
Betts has not gone yet. He has 16 steals. Sandoval takes one close, but missing. He wore out the Royals in the World Series last year when he was a third baseman for the San Francisco Giants, hitting .429 against Kansas City. San Francisco 1-7. There's a line drive to left, base hit. These Sox have been on fire. The Royals defense brought to you by Ford.
Yeah, Paulo Orlando, we're highlighting him here, but he's the only other player besides Alex Gordon to start out there since 2010. And it's a tester, but you know, he's a fine athlete, good, strong throwing arm, especially for left field here. But he'll be tested against the wall if they do make some contact off of it. It's important to position yourself in a proper way, but you know, it helps when you take some batting practice. But the Royals getting in so early in the morning, they weren't out there today, so he just have to play it as he sees it. Now it's time to roll that double play up.
Against Sander Bogaerts, who has been outstanding at home this year, hitting .342 at Fenway Park, and overall .312 this season. And that's in the top 10 in the American League.
And he's hitting .383 with runners in scoring position. That's really a good number for him.
That's number 1 in the AL. Little tapper. Perez will throw him out at first base, and rounding third wide was Mookie Betts, and Hosmer, if the throw is an accurate one, they have a great chance to get him, but it was very wide, and Moustakas saved it from going into the Royals dugout.
Haas possesses one of the best throwing arms by a first baseman in any league. Now this is a little topper here. Salvi pounces on it, and it almost went foul. And then Haas saw Betts getting a pretty good turn over there at third base. And Moose saved it, like you said. Now this ball's going to roll foul if Salvi continues to let it go that way, but he wants the out.
Now you've got runners on second and third with one of the most dangerous and hottest hitters in baseball coming up, David Ortiz. Now his overall number is .268. Obviously the 26 home runs impressive, but more impressive is the fact that he has an 11-game hit streak going where he's batting .500, 21 for 42, 5 home runs in that span.
Okay, he stands upright. And it's important that you keep that ball down and away from him and make him go the other way. Any mistakes out up over the middle or in. As hot as he's been, he trusts those hands. He'll do some damage with. Now he's just hitting 188 this year with runners in scoring position, and that's a mark that he's not used to. In his career, he's a 299 hitter.
He still has 75 RBIs.
Yep.
And Duffy falling behind 2-0. Now, if he walks Ortiz, he'll be facing Hanley Ramirez, who has not been as hot as Ortiz, and it could set up the double play. But we're really early in this game. A strike that grazes the outside corner. And Ortiz didn't like the call from home plate umpire David Rackley.
Ooh, it's a good breaker that started out on the inside part of the plate, ends up away and off. Ortiz, he's the ultimate pro. He's been in the league a long time. He knows that strike zone better than some umpires.
He checked his swing in time, and the count moves to 3-1.
Surprised Ortiz laid off of that one. The ball was elevated.
See what he's done against Danny in his career. 3 hits, all of them doubles. First base again is open.
Time for a pop-up.
He walked him. Arcia in the driver's seat is all about the Red Sox offense, and they have been on fire of lately. First in batting since August 7th at 337. 311 in the month of August. That's also number 1. They're averaging 7 runs per game, and since August 7th averaging 8.3. Are you kidding me?
Well, everything runs in streaks in this game. Peaks and valleys, and when you're on the top, you stay hot for a period of time, and then you go back down in the valley. So it's up to Royals pitchers to be able to pitch to these guys and stay under their bats.
And they like swinging the bats at Fenway. Their average is almost 60 point higher at home than on the road. Here is Ramirez. Ball 1.
We've noticed Duffy, in his previous starts, he's been using the upper part of the strike zone with his curve, and that's not by design. Dave Island was telling me before the game he wants that ball, that breaking pitch to be down. It starts around the belt, ends up down below the knees. That's where he wants it. You mess around with that breaking ball upstairs, it can get hit.
And the monster is looming in left. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hanley has grounded into 11 double plays. We told you earlier Duffy has induced 15.
There's Dave Island, Royals pitching coach. He's done another outstanding job this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Island's crew has a 3.51 ERA. That's second lowest ERA in the American League.
Dave Island, he's done a fantastic job since he's joined the staff back in 2012. He's a solid, no nonsense type of pitching coach. Brings a little old school along with some new school in with him. Very good mechanical adjuster.
Just inside.
I like how he's using that fastball on Ramirez here, down and in. That's a good recipe for a ground ball to Moose.
And Danny really worked the ball inside well in his last start, but hit 3 batters. He didn't walk anybody, but hit 3.
No, that's hard to do. But Duffy, he's been coming into his own. He's got to find a way to wiggle out of this one. He might go on cruise control if he can get out of it.
In there, strike 3 called, and Ramirez knew it.
Didn't want to do that with him loaded. And 95, good spots. Look how he's been pitching Hanley Ramirez inside on that grid we showed you, all those pitches. That ball was perfectly executed.
So now 2 out. And the batter is Travis Shaw. He also has been on fire. The lefty matchup should favor Duffy. Now Shaw hitting .512 at Fenway Park. Overall, his average .369. He's a rookie out of Washington Courthouse, Ohio. 2 balls, no strikes.
Good Salvi trusts those hands, man. He's got a pair of them, I'll tell you. Especially that glove hand.
4 of his last 6 home runs. 4 of his 6 home runs have come in the last 6 games, and all 6 of his home runs have come at Fenway.
See if Salvi can guide Duffy through it here. He's got 2 outs.
Ooh. Wow. Now in danger of walking the left-hander, and Duffy has lately really controlled left-handers very well. They were 3 for 21 in his last 6 starts coming in here, and Danny has not allowed a home run to a left-handed batter since 2011. And Salvador Perez, as Danny said, he's a guy who I consider to be a brother. We came up in the minor leagues. I trust Salvador Perez completely. We go over the scouting reports together, and we are always on the same page.
And that home run you were talking about, it was off of Jim Thome's bat back in 2011. Keep it down, get back in there. There you go. He can get back in this here if he can just throw another strike. If he can repeat that one, you see him shaking his head. Yeah, that's the rhythm I need. Same spot. Away.
And there is ball 4, and it's 1-0 Boston. Bases loaded walk to Travis Shaw. So Duffy, who did not walk anyone in his last outing when he beat the Angels on Friday 4-1, didn't miss by much, but it was up and away.
Yeah, you know, I'm surprised he wasn't swinging there. That's a pretty good pitch. That looked like that caught the top of the zone. Could have went either way. It all depends on the umpire and his strike zone.
Now Ryan Hannigan, who's known more for his defense than his offense, but like lately, there's a ground ball struck to Escobar. He'll get the force at second base, and that does it for Boston in the first. They leave the bases loaded, but they score 1. Danny talking with the umpire about that last pitch. City. And fans, it's now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KCDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Eric Hosmer will lead things off against the left-hander Miley. The Royals with a winning record against left-handers this year, 23-19. hitting .269 against lefties. Boston is 13-21 against left-handers this year.
In that first pitch changeup, he's not afraid to use it to lefties or righties, and he'll throw it in fastball counts. So he's got a lot of confidence in that pitch. Hosmer loves hitting here at Fenway Park in his career as a .373 hitter.
Foul off. And Rex, I love what he has done lately. I mean, when Alex Gordon went down with that injury, Hosmer like flipped a switch and turned it on. He's hitting over 400 since Alex went on the disabled list.
Well, you know, in order to soften the blow, it's a shocker that Alex Gordon went out. We talked immediately about other guys stepping up. That's what you got to do. And Hosmer's been answering. I directly used his name. I said, all right, it's up to Hos now to start picking up his slack, and he's done that. And he's doing that because he's able to control that front foot. He's keeping his weight back. And I don't know if you've noticed, Fizz, but his left knee in the last few games, it's been a couple weeks now, he's been twitching his left knee, and we can see it right here. And that's giving him conscious about staying on the backside and not getting too far out in front. Finally got in there.
Miley did go with that good slider down and away from Eric. Well, a University of Kansas injury report. Alex Gordon, who always plays well at Fenway Park, hitting .375 with 12 doubles. He's been out since July 9th, but you were talking to Gordo earlier today, and what did he tell you?
Says that he's feeling like he's ready to go out this weekend sometime and start playing ball again. And I said, really? Is it well? And he said, yes, I believe it's well. So
well, just watch him take fly balls in the outfield, batting practice. He looks like the old Alex.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly he healed.
They want to get him into a competitive situation. Miley with 2 strikeouts, now facing Kendrys Morales, and as Rex told you, last night was the first game he did not play. A lot of times when he play in a National League site, Morales will sit, Hosmer will play first, but he's always been at least a pinch hitter.
Miley, he's beaten his catcher Hannigan up so far early in this one. Hannigan caught that off the right thumb. He's trying to work Morales down. You see those pitches there? He's really conscious of that green monster.
And that one hit off of his front foot, so just a foul ball. 1-2 count on Kendrys Morales. He's been in the top 5 in the RBI race all season long, and the leader is the great Josh Donaldson of Toronto with 91 RBIs, then Chris Davis of Baltimore with 89, and then Morales with his 83.
We got him a pitch there. 91 up in the zone. Good level swing. He's shaking his head saying, how'd I miss that? Defensively, Red Sox playing him in the outfield to the opposite field. In the infield, they're playing him to pull. Interesting.
Wow, he got the low strike called there, and I don't think Morales agrees with David Rackley. But that is out number 2 and the 3rd strikeout for Miley. And calling all Yogis, the Royals are excited to host their first ever Yogis in the Outfield event on Sunday, September 6th, prior to the game against the White Sox. Join yoga instructor Sue Park for an early morning 1-hour yoga session on the Kauffman Stadium outfield grass, followed by a light breakfast served in the Hall of Fame Pavilion. And to participate in this great event, you can purchase your special ticket package now at Royals.com/special events. Are you going to join me?
I will.
Awesome.
Yeah, Rhino was talking about you, saying, I wonder if Fizz will go. Uh-oh. Moose, get there.
Rutledge still has time to throw out Moustakas. So, yes, Hud, I will be there along with my wife, Nama Stacy.
Super.
And you, Nama Hud.
Let's do it. Whoops. Nice rebound. Okay, this one here, he finished nicely. That's what he wants to put that ball. That curve's got to stay down. Now here's one to Handley. That his front shoulder came out a little bit, caught the top part of the strike zone. That's where he does not want to leave that ball. He's going to get in trouble up there. And so his shoulder leaked a little, but he really wants to stay down through it and finish off that pitch.
He'll face hitters 8, 9, and 1 here in the second inning. There's 7 batters, having to throw 27 pitches in the first inning. Jackie Bradley. Boy, Hud, you just look down their lineup. Every single player has been on fire, and obviously when you're averaging 8.3 runs per game the last couple of weeks. But here's Bradley, only a .247 hitter, and yet his last 12 games, 15 for 31.
A couple triples and 4 homers mixed in there with 16 ribbies, so that's borderline scalding hot. Duffy can finish him off though with his repertoire. He's got really good stuff, 3 nice pitches. Trust Salvi. Stay away and down.
He's a terrific player out of the University of South Carolina. Was the most outstanding player in the 2010 College World Series. Outside he had a teammate who is in the Royals organization, Whit Merrifield. A lot of people have heard about that young man, a very versatile athlete at AAA Omaha, can play just about all 3 outfield positions and every single infield spot. Foul off.
When Duffy struggles with the command, sometimes it's amazing. He gets ahead of hitters 0-2, and then he tries to be too fine, and he works to a hitter's count right now in 3-2, but he's not able to finish guys off when he gets them ahead. So he lets them back in the count. Now they pretty much could guess a fastball's coming.
Well, this is a very patient Boston team. Not as patient as it was in years past because they had so many veterans, like Mike Napoli or Johnny Gomes, but they still have more than 90 walks more than Kansas City. They're 5th in the American League with 361 coming into the game. Fouled off.
They're taxing his pitch count early in this game. Making him extend some pitches, and a lot of them are foul ball counts. So when he gets ahead of hitters, he's got to go right after him and finish him off. I can put it in play. That's 3 foul balls now.
But you know what that's like, Hud. When you're feeling good, you're in a hot streak, you'll foul off the tough pitches, and then you get the mistake, you square it up. Boston's been doing that in this month of August.
He's going to have to execute a pitch here. Salvi's saying right down the middle. Come on, let's challenge him. There you go. Use that defense.
Hosmer, 1 out. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Ben Zobrist playing second base. Omar Infante experiencing back spasms earlier this week. Ned Yost said he's available, much improved, but the Royals facing a left-hander. They wanted to get as many right-handed bats in there with Orlando and Rios in the outfield. So Zobrist getting the start at second base. Now number 9 batter Josh Rutledge. He was acquired from the Angels on July 27th in the Shane Victorino deal. I think we last saw him as a member of the Colorado Rockies. He was their 3rd round pick in 2010. Good player there, and they thought they would have him as their everyday second baseman, then fell on hard times offensively.
You know, and he came up as shortstop, but you know, with the Rockies and Tulowitzki there at short, he's not going to get any playing time, so they moved him over to second base. He's a nice player. He's got a little pop, but just tries to get on base. He's got average speed. Fans are all close to the field here at Fenway Park. You better bring your glove, believe me. There's a guy that didn't need one, but man, he's got skills. Yeah. Way to go, Dad.
Duffy's 1-2. A little bit low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So here's another situation. He went with a changeup there. He can bury fastballs on this guy all day long. Challenge him. He can't. He's a 190 hitter. There you go.
Moustakas could not get it out of his glove. Rutledge runs very, very well. I'm not sure if Moose would have gotten him, but he needed to do it immediately, get to his feet, and fire across the diamond.
Moose, good range to his left, and whenever he gloves it, he usually is able to get to his feet and throw him out. But that time the ball just laid in his fingers. Third baseman's glove is going to be a little bit bigger than the second base glove and even the shortstop's glove, because he needs a little bit more there so he can snag those hot shots at him. Sometimes it's hard to find it.
Now Mookie Betts. He scored the only run on the bases loaded walk in the first inning, and he takes strike 1. The left side of Kansas City's infield has been very sure-handed of late. They have not made an error in the last 18 games. The third baseman Moustakas, the shortstop Escobar. And you go back almost, well, a little more than a month, and Esky has not made an error. Foul. Ouch.
That young lady just did, although that was a bad hop.
Yeah. She kept it in front of her.
She sure did. Nice form.
Made the play. A little embarrassed, and that hurt.
Hey, look. That's a hot shot down there with the way these stands are right on the field here. It's the ball gets on you in a hurry in the stands.
He went, and Mookie knew it that time. Duffy did go with the high fastball, and Mookie could not hold up. So that is strikeout number 2 for Danny.
You know, as long as he follows Salvi's lead, and when he gets ahead of these hitters, his fastball's good enough, and he's going to save his pitch count by just challenging hitters. That's what you do, instead of trying to nibble around the corners.
Last time up, he was working Pablo Sandoval away, and Sandoval did not try and pull it. He just laced a single down the left field line.
And the ball was elevated, though. He threw him some nice breaking balls down, and that wasn't one of them.
Nope, that's the one you were talking about, where it was a little flat.
Yeah, he's just not finishing it. But just watch Salvi. Salvi's so good. He tells the pitcher, Duffy, what he wants, and then in turn, when we see him, he'll tell us too. Very animated back there.
Good fastball at 93.
Great location. You can't hit that.
Boston with 4 left-handers in their lineup today. And that's despite the fact that Danny's had great success against left-handers. When Danny gets ahead, he is outstanding. Opponent just batting .228 with 1 home run when he's ahead in the count. It's 1-2 on Sandoval. Grounder second. Zobrist has it. Inning over. When we come back, we'll have a look at Salvador Perez. His offense picking things up of late. Salvi will lead it off in the top of the 3rd. championship was 2013. But since that time, the Royals have the best record in the American League, and the Red Sox have the worst record. 125, 157. They changed their management as we see a base hit by Salvador Perez to right field. And Kansas City with their leadoff man on for the second time tonight. Dave Dombrowski takes over, and they're saying a lot of changes will be made, and Dave said he will be responsible for all trades.
Yeah, but you know, since 13, they've had a lot of different players come in here and a lot of different players. When you have that many guys changing, it changes the chemistry inside that clubhouse. They're trying to find the right mix.
They are, and they added some players that have not contributed that much this year. They got Sandoval from the World Championship San Francisco Giants team, Hanley Ramirez from the National League West champion Dodgers, and also Rick Porcello from the American League Central champion Detroit Tigers. But even their victories in the past have not been a good mix here. There is Alex Rios. Rios hitting .232 with a couple of home runs, both against one team, the White Sox. Pulled to the left side. Sandoval will throw out Rios, but Salvador Perez is able to advance into scoring position. And Rex, we were talking about the moves, acquiring Sandoval, acquiring Ramirez, acquiring Porcello. I mean, that's a lot of money out there. Almost $300 million. And Sandoval's hitting .258, Ramirez .259, and Porcello's 5-11.
Well, you know, forget about the money, okay?
Okay.
And that's just a byproduct of the system and how it's all working. But it's what the guys are doing. They're changing uniforms, and lots of times when you change uniforms and you go from different teams, it's an adjustment period, and they haven't been able to do it so far.
That's why I really think Dayton Moore did a marvelous job, not only identifying talented players, but also great character guys who would fit with this current team so they didn't disrupt the great chemistry. And Johnny Cueto and Ben Zobrist fit beautifully into this puzzle.
Well, most brilliant general managers like Dayton Moore is becoming. He understands, and actually he's a very smart baseball man even before his teams have started to win. Dombrowski, he's had some world championships in his past. At least he's had one with the Marlins when he was there. But Dayton Moore, he's got one coming. But still, they know the inside and outside of their teams and the organization that they have, how they want to structure it.
Paulo Orlando pops up to the right side, and the second baseman Rutledge will make the catch. And speaking of Dayton, he has a book out, More Than a Season. The book explores the intersection of faith, family, and leadership, and the process of rebuilding a championship culture in Kansas City. Now, fans, 100% of the proceeds from book purchases support Dayton's charity See You in the Major Leagues. Purchase your autographed copy today at Royals.com/More Than a Season. And I think what he's done is he has put together a team that represents Kansas City. I mean, Midwestern values, hardworking, great teamwork. There's a strong connection with this team about what Kansas City is all about. And you and I get to travel with them. And I think that's what I'm most proud of, Hud. Good group of guys. They get along, really love each other. And we've said this several times. Lorenzo Cain told me, he said, this is the closest I've ever been to my teammates, including high school and junior college.
Yeah, and you know, that's extremely important. However, that doesn't always equate into a championship team. But with this organization and what they've done and how it's been built, they've won in the minors. They've all come up together. There's a nice little window here that Dayton Moore has, and Ed Yost with these young players that you know, the time is right.
I love to see him smile.
It's always good to see the skipper smile, especially when you're a player and you see your manager. You feed off of him.
Well, it's easy to smile when you're 27 games over 500.
Sure is. Escobar hitting .305 with runners in scoring position. See if he can tie this one up. He's going to have to place it pretty well to score Salvi.
Singled up the middle his first time. But this time he sends it right to the shortstop Bogarts. That will do it for Kansas City. We'll hear from Monty on the Monster. That's next.
Takes us to one of the great places to watch a game in any sport. On top of the Monster, Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. We've got some Royals fans. We stole their seats. They are happy to oblige. Monty, you've been on the other side of this, pitching here. How does a pitcher handle the Monster?
Well, you know it, but the whole thing is, Joel, you have to really kind of stay with your game. You want to get ground balls. They can't hit ground balls over our head out here, so keep the pitches down, work your stuff, and if you do, you're going to be just fine.
And how did you do here?
I think, pretty well. I know I gave up a couple home runs, but overall I think I did pretty well.
Now, we know that Monty always talks about the bad moments that he remembers, so I looked it up for him, and he was right. It was 2 home runs. He remembered one came against Nomar Garciaparra, no big deal with that. You described the other one, because you didn't know the name of the player, as a what?
Well, it was a cheap home run. It was a ball that I thought was a foul ball. When he hit it, I thought it was going to be over in the stands, very foul. And I look up, the umpire's signaling home run, and the base runners, he's rounding the bases for a home run. And those are those little guys. I like call them fleas or grommets, but when they hit a home runs, I call them flea grommets.
So that's what you said to me before. Some little lefty flea grommet hit a homer off of me.
Yeah, and I still don't know his name.
His name is Andy Tomberlin. I don't know if you guys remember him. Monty does not. All he remembers is the flea grommet that hit one over the Monster here at Fenway.
And I've got to let you guys know, the man next to me, he hit 3 at the Monster. And Rex, your first game was here and your last game was here.
Yeah, now it's a special place. Ooh, see if
Hosmer
get that.
Get it
Lead
to Duffy. Not in time.
Man. Good try. That's a heck of an opportunity there, and a great try by Hosmer to Duffy. It's a tough one from Hos, because when you leave your feet like that and you come over there and make a play that far off the bag, and he didn't have to leave his feet, but he has to lead Duffy. It's like a quarterback throwing. And had he led him about another foot or two, it might have been close, but nah, not by looking at that angle. Bogarts can run. He earned that.
Boston has a leadoff man on for the second time tonight. First time that man Betts scored. It's the only run of the ball game. We're in the bottom half of the third, and here is Ortiz. Out of play, strike 1.
That's the second infield hit of the 4 the Red Sox have got tonight.
26 home runs, now 492 in his great career. And you talk about a guy who will be going into the Hall of Fame, and mainly because of clutch, the number of walk-offs that he's had. Walk-offs in big games like the World Series or playoff games. Who can forget the incredible performance he had in bringing back Boston against the Yankees in the American League Championship Series and knocking them off after they led 3-0. There's that flat slider that missed.
Ortiz has grounded into 11 double plays. That's still not the team high. That Sandoval owns that mark at 13.
Another breaking ball, again outside, so he's gone from 0-2 to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ortiz, a very patient hitter in the top 10 and walks with 58.
Bogarts is 7 out of 8 in steals. Danny Duffy hasn't shown that nice step-off move yet. And that's another thing that I've been liking about Duffy. He hasn't been showing it early. That's a good move that he has. Ooh.
Swung on and missed a good 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And Ortiz turns back at David Rackley and wanted to know, was it a strike?
Well, doesn't matter. That's the pitch that Duffy's got to use more when he gets ahead of guys. He's been using the curveball earlier in the counts, and he gets those hitters. Look at that. Finish him with that heater. That's a good pitch, especially when it's up and away like that.
Hey, Rex, you mentioned the fact that he doesn't show his pickoff move early. What are you talking about?
Well, it's because, you know, when the opponents know they're scouting in all their meetings, they talk about what the pitcher's got. He's got a step-off move, so the runner, he gets over there and he knows it, that he's got it. And sometimes that keeps him closer to first, knowing that he has it. And then when you show it, now they're comfortable. They're all comfortable seeing it. So you want to save it until later in the game when it really can get a pickoff for you. So when you just show it in the first inning just to show it, it's not meaningful. Save it when you really need it. You need a pickoff with it.
Hanley Ramirez struck out with the bases loaded back in the first inning for the second out. Looked like Duffy might get out of a jam, but the next batter, Shaw, walked and drove in the only run. Ball hit sharply. Moustakas knocks it down, goes to second, gets the force there. Nice play by Moose.
That time, he was able to make the transfer from glove to hand. Didn't have long, too. Threw off his right knee. Well, if you don't have your right leg, you throw off your right knee. That's where you get your leverage. Good plays. Ober's playing first base. Over there at second.
And Torey Lovullo was thinking about challenging, but then said no and turned it down. So right now you have Ramirez at first base with 2 out. The batter is Shaw. He takes upstairs ball 1. And Hud, you had a chance to talk with Torey before the ball game. He's replacing John Farrell on the interim basis. John with under control cancer. They said they got it on the early stages, but Torey will manage the club the rest of this season.
Yeah, and you know, he said, look, this team has been well managed by John Farrell, and he's just really just stepping in for him in the meantime. And he says, you know, John Farrell, he's such a hands-on guy. He loves being around. He's in the clubhouse today, even after his first chemo treatment. And he said, you know, he was a little groggy and tired. We're all telling him, hey, why don't you go home? But John Farrell loves this ball club. He loves the Red Sox and wants to be here. But Torey's just filling in. He said, there's a lot going on. Look, I'm just managing what was handed to me.
That ball struck well, left field and deep, off the green monster. Racing to third is Ramirez. He will be held there. And it is a opposite field double for Travis Shaw, who continues to impress in his first big league stint with the Red Sox.
Okay, Paulo Orlando did a nice job. On contact, he ran to where he believed the ball was going to bounce off, and that's playing it safe. And so that's the way to do it. If you want to get technical, you want to get close to the wall and catch it before it bounces on the ground. But look, he hasn't played there long. That's a very difficult play. And unless
Ryan Butterfield was able to hold Ramirez at third base, so a chance to get Hannigan and get out of this difficult jam with 2 out.
And the fact that they didn't take any batting practice today, and he didn't get a chance to take any balls off of that wall. That's how you play it. Just play it safe. Don't try to do anything miraculous out there. But, you know, of course, Yaz was the greatest at playing that wall, but Mike Greenwell did a good job at his time when he was a Red Sox, and he would go right up on that warning track, and whenever the ball hit that wall, he would catch it before it bounced. And he would throw runners out at second.
They said Carl Yastrzemski, after every single road trip, would come back, first game really work hard just to get the idea of where the ball was coming off. And there are some weird nooks and crannies out there with that scoreboard in left.
A lot of games are won and lost by caroms off that wall.
Guys used to talk about not only the scoreboard, but the seams on the wall, where it would shoot off to the right or to the left. Almost like Larry Bird knowing every single wood slat at the Boston Garden.
Yeah, that's right.
He would move a defender in that area or an offensive player in that area just so he could go for the steal. And how about that, Hud? A foul ball off of the ladder.
Oh, that is very strange to have that there now. I don't believe that they use that for anything.
No.
But that's part of their wall. They're not going to change it. Finish him off. Uh-oh.
Up the middle, base hit, in comes two, and it's a 3-0 Boston lead on an 0-2 count.
Well, he wanted to finish him off with a fastball, maybe away or up, but he left a hanger. I mean, that was a hanging breaking ball that just stayed in the middle of the plate, and anybody's going to be able to hit that now. So you got to credit Hannigan for not missing it. And that's just a pitch that's going to get hit.
And Rex, I was a little surprised that he threw that pitch because he's had less consistency with the breaking ball than he has with the fastball.
Yeah, the fastball has been a good pitch for him. He's got to trust it. And that's what Dave Island always preaches. Trust your stuff. Be convicted with each pitch you throw. I don't think he was convicted with that pitch there.
And there's a rope to right field, and that will reach the corner. Hannigan racing to third. They're going to send him home. And it's a triple for Jackie Bradley, and Boston takes a 4-0 lead.
All right, they're starting to do it with 2 outs, and they're getting contagious with that pitch again that was a fastball up. Now Hannigan, and for a catcher, he looking pretty good coming around them bases. Brian Butterfield, third base coach, wheeling him around. Bradley with his third triple on the year.
Danny Matthews always talks about how you want to stay away from the teams when they are hot. Well, the Royals come into town when Boston is at their hottest all year long. We told you an offense that has been hitting .337 since August 7th. First in the American League in runs scored, 8.3. Second in home runs with 19, and they have a 4-0 lead on the Royals in game 1 of this 4-game series. Here's Rutledge. Rutledge reached on an infield hit. Moustakas made a diving effort. Had trouble getting it out of his glove.
72 pitches in just the third inning.
We saw 359 pitches by both teams last night in a 3-hour and 40-minute game. Won by the Royals 4-3 over Cincinnati last night.
Well, an
fastball.
Hour and a half rain delay. I mean, it was long enough. Was it 3:40 the game? I know the game didn't exactly fly by.
No. And Ned Yost was telling us before the ball game that we look at each individual umpire strike zone every night. What he likes to call. Does he like the high strike, the low strike? And they have what you call heat maps, where an umpire strike zone. Well, if he's going to call the low strike, you better go attack that area. Wade Davis, I thought, struck out Suarez for the final out of the game. It was just above the belly button, but it was called a ball by Chris Conroy, and the inning continued. Then all of a sudden, Wade has to face a tougher hitter in Joey Votto, which he struck out.
With the best cutter of the year.
Wow.
It was a beautiful cutter right on the inner half. I mean, inside, off the plate about 2-3 inches. And he challenged him and got him.
Saw Wade today, and I said, way to get 4 outs in the 9th inning last night. He just smiled. The foul ball got our camera. Danny Duffy from Lompoc, California, near Vandenberg Air Force Base, where the Defense Department tests missiles and satellites. Fastball popped up left side. Moustakas wants it, and Moustakas takes it. Well, Boston with a combination of power and speed, and Jackie Bradley's a guy who can fly. Dealers.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. Ben Zobrist will lead things off in the top of the fourth inning. Wade Miley has been sharp. He's allowed only 2 hits, a single by Escobar and a single by Perez.
Just starting the second time through.
Ben hits one to center field. Mookie Betts, 1 out.
Zobrist being extremely aggressive tonight. His first at bat, he swung at every pitch that was thrown to him. That's not like him.
He's now 1 for 10 against the Red Sox starting pitcher Wade Miley. 28-year-old lefty out of Hammond, Louisiana, who was Arizona's supplemental first-round pick in 2008 out of Southeast Louisiana, and then traded to Boston last December for Ruby De La Rosa, Alan Webster, and Raymel Flores. We told you in pregame how Miley so much better in victories, and he's got a 4-0 lead last time out. Boston gave him 22 runs. That should win you a game.
Well, sure, but you know, he deserves some credit. And I can't tell you, I've only seen him pitch a few times, but tonight he's utilizing that low fastball, 89 to 92, keeping it down and away. Look, he's hitting his spots, and then he's backing it up with a good changeup that's coming out of the same arm speed.
Do you know he's unbeaten in his career when his team gives him 22 runs of support?
Shocker. Not surprised. I think you and I could win a game like that.
You might. I'd be out in the first. Let's get the long reliever in here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Miley to Kane. He struck him out swinging first time up on a pitch similar to that one. Looks like Miley cuts his fastball a little bit.
Yep, you know, he's got a little bit of movement there, but he likes to sink it with a little bit of tailing action away. And sometimes when you get that cutter going in, it's tough. There's a nice slider.
Wow, it was a great one. And he strikes out Kane for the second time. The Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
Yeah, fooled him. Started out in the middle, looked good, and then by the time it broke and he picked up the spin, it was too late.
And that's the kind of slider we've seen from Duffy in the past, but he has more of a flatter slider that's not down below that strike zone. Here is Hosmer.
Well, it was definitely a mistake when he threw it to Hennigan. 0-2, he just left it up. Happens.
Hosmer with a 10-game hit streak, 13 hits in those 10 games, with 7 of them extra base hits. Now he lays off that slider for a 2-0 count. Another slider, this time that grazes the outside corner. And that's confidence in that secondary pitch to throw that breaking ball on a 2-0 count.
He looks good, but when you get 4 runs behind you, sometimes you're even better.
Rutledge has it. The Royals go in order in the top of the 4th. It's Boston 4 and Kansas City nothing. Well, if so, get your tickets today for Irish Heritage Night at the K on Wednesday, September 2nd, starting at just $22. This special ticket package gets you both a game ticket to watch the Royals battle the Tigers and a single-day admission to the Kansas City Irish Fest the following weekend. Get your tickets today at Royals.com/special events. And that is a wonderful occasion, and
better believe it
covers
is.
your birthday, doesn't it?
That's a heck of a day right there, especially my heritage is Irish.
Yes.
Way to pick it out, folks.
I've heard you have red hair and freckles and are related to some leprechauns.
That's right. There you go. Good change.
Now he has an 0-2 count. Made a mistake to Hennigan, an 0-2.
Yeah, double up with it.
Rather than the fastball?
Yeah, keep it down there. Let's see.
The fastball is lined to center field. It stays up for Kane, and there's one out.
Got a man there.
Well, I tell you, that guy is hot. You can do that on an 0-2 pitch that is that well located.
See how he loads, man. It's amazing how many hitters we see now with that flamingo leg kick to load their hips. A lot of hitters, use that. They pick that foot up, and Pablo does a small one there. Ooh, that's a nice little tight breaker there.
But the best hitters we've seen have a quieter approach. Don't have that flamingo kick.
You know what, Fizz? Every hitter is different. That's what makes our game up here in the big leagues so special. They all have their own unique way.
Hosmer to Duffy, 2 out.
And you know, interesting having a season in Japan. And I found out today that Torey Lovello, their Boston's new intern manager, he played for the same team I played over there. But you know, over there they're all the same. They train them to do all the same way. They hit the same. They all get ready the same. And that's why they like Americans or different gaijin. That means foreign players to come over there, and it's creative for their game. They like to see a different style. But in Japan, they all teach them the same way.
Is it because of the success of Sadaharu O way back in the 60s with that high flamingo leg kick you're talking about?
Very well could be, but they all teach the same way. And it's just very interesting. And their pitchers, you know how they all have that deception, how they use their bodies and they have pauses and they have funky deliveries, kind of like Johnny Cueto, which really makes it difficult to hit for timing.
And speaking of Johnny, if you have plans tomorrow night, break them, because Johnny's pitching. And that's going to be fun.
Now Duffy's getting that breaking ball where he wants it now. That looked good.
It'll be Cueto's first ever appearance at Fenway Park, he was telling us before the game. Danny will handle it himself. And it's his first 1-2-3 inning for Danny. Royals need 4 to tie. There's Johnny getting ready for tomorrow night.
Pitch, but it wasn't in the middle. It was out. Look at this. The breaking ball was up a little bit, but he tied up Sandoval, had him guessing fastball, and he's able to show his athleticism, and especially here. Now, Duffy, look how he's calm, and he made the play. Before the Danny Duffy, he would be hyper. He would jump off the mound, and he might throw it down the line. So, good improvement of his body language, the way he can control his body and his emotions. Now, it looked like he's trying to get into some rhythm now. He executed a few good breaking pitches. Hopefully he can hold him down the rest of the way.
And the Royals would love to have him go at least 6. Now, he's thrown a lot of pitches in this game. But remember, the Royals bullpen has had to work 11 2/3 innings the last 2 games. And they did not allow a run in those 11 2/3 innings. That's the best bullpen in baseball.
It's an incredible run, but mainly Ned's done a good job of not overusing them. Maybe just 1 inning apiece for all of them. So they're all good to go, as far as we know. Those are the things that managers on teams, they don't like to tell you, and nor should they, because they don't want it to get out to the opponents to see who's available and who's not. That's why we have to do our own speculation up here. He's been toying with Morales down in the zone. Right down there is where he got a pitch on him, and Morales didn't like it. Of course, he never argues, but he took a slow turnaround and walk off on that last time up.
Fielded by Miley. 1 out.
One hopper that might have gotten through. I don't know, but with that range that Bogarts has at shortstop, that would have been close. The tester. Orioles overall doing a nice job against the left-handers this season. They're hitting .269 with 15 homers. Now they're not a real home run hitting team, but their record against left-handed starters this year, 23-19. Miley, he's hit his spots tonight. He's really working the lower half of the zone and keeping them guessing. Now there's a curveball, so he starts bringing those breaking balls in second, maybe third time through. The curves.
Moustakas rips one down the right field line, and that is gone. A home run for Moose, and the Royals have cut it to 4-1.
There's a piece of cheese inside with our Dodge driver that came in. Oh my gosh, look at that inner half, quick hands, pulled him in, and he hooked the pesky pole on the line. That's a no-doubter.
Of course, they call that the pesky pole because of Johnny Pesky, a former infielder back in the 40s who played with Ted Williams. And Johnny didn't hit many home runs, but when he did, he usually hit that right field foul pole. And Moose with a laser line drive for home run number 12 this year. Ground up the middle. And Rutledge bobbles it, still has time to get Salvador Perez for the second out.
That is just a very nice, smooth swing, but he was quick with his hands, and he didn't use his top hand. He didn't hook it. He's really led with his bottom hand and was able to keep it fair that way.
Perhaps that's the start of a comeback. Miley, when he has been good, he's been really good this year. I mean, he had a one-hit shutout through 7 innings in a victory over the Angels, and also beat the Angels in 8 innings, giving up just 1 run, and took perfect games into the 5th inning and 6th innings of each of those. He's jumped ahead of Alex Rios. And there's a looping line drive on an 0-2 count, and Rios is on.
That home run off of Miley was just the second he's given up all year to a left-hander. He's given up 12 to righties. So we'll see if they can get him up at all, and the right-handers can put a couple over the monster.
Well, perhaps the Royals making adjustments, because if you look at the splits of Wade Miley, first, second, third time through the order, the batting average against goes up and up. And this is the second time for Orlando, and then they'll turn the lineup over to Escobar, who will see him for the 3rd time. .304 third time, and Orlando seeing him for the 2nd time. He popped up to second base. We're out number 2 in the 3rd inning. Oh, and 2.
Staying with the changeup. Got him to abbreviate and check swing that last pitch before that one, and then he stayed right with it. Once he gets a pattern on you and he feels like he can use it, then he might even triple up with it here. You see, he's holding that changeup grip right there behind his back. And they'll change it in that glove. That's why hitters, they watch the glove. They watch the movement of the fingers. They watch all that. They watch sometimes the forearm, the muscles in the forearm, and they can tell by how he's gripping it, sometimes by the muscles that move, or if they don't move. means he's locked on a certain pitch. So the hitters, they're watching every little thing that pitcher shows them.
Grounder to third. Sandoval gets the force, but Moustakas goes deep. The Royals within 3 of Boston.
Oh, Moose got loose on the inside heater.
Fenway Park, David Ortiz stepping in. Last year, Big Papi said to me that he had told some of the Royals, if you guys start to win and get into the playoffs, it's going to transform the whole city. Of course, he was right, so I went back and told him that today, how unbelievable the city of Kansas City is right now over Royals baseball. And he said, you know, I've been keeping track of some of these guys for a long time. Moustakas, Hosmer, Escobar, Salvador Perez. He said the patience in developing those guys has been so key. That ball's going to slice right back to Paulo Orlando for the first out. Big Papi going to stare at that one. But he said it might have been different in a place like Boston, where there's so much media scrutiny on a general manager, on the players. He said, look, I'm a guy that some folks here have wanted to retire since 2009. You have a bad month, and they're ready to run you out of town. He said that the Kansas City Royals organization, they've got to give themselves a round of applause for the patience they have had in developing these young players.
Good point.
And Joe, Rex and I were talking about it. It is a Midwestern team. They have that Midwestern work ethic. There's a joy that they play with that has been contagious, and Kansas City absolutely has fallen in love.
Well, that man right there knows all about the Royals.
Yeah, we talked to him earlier this year when he was the general manager of the Detroit Tigers, and he said he was trying to build a bullpen like they had at Salvi. Goes down after that foul ball, and he said umpire's going to go out and let him rest by going out and visiting with Duffy, but Sal's got a smile on his face.
Yeah, he's all right. He's tough. This ball looked like it caught him on his left shoulder. He lost his balance, and he said, you know what? I think I'll just sit this one down for a little bit. Oh, it hit off the knee. Ooh. Ouch.
And David Rackley and everybody who umpires behind home plate knows about those foul balls. So out of respect, they give everybody as much time as possible. And Salvi really gets along with the umpires. We've talked with home plate umpires who said Salvi is easy to call balls and strikes because the width of his knees is like directly the amount of space of the 17 inches of home plate. And so if it's inside his knees, we usually call it a strike. There's an out, and Kansas City would like to invite all local business professionals to the K next Thursday, August 27th, for Business Day at the K. The event will feature a pregame presentation by General Manager Dayton Moore, networking opportunities and snacks, $10 loaded value to be used for food and beverage throughout the ballpark, and of course the chance to watch the Royals take on Baltimore. Just go to Royals.com/business.
Danny's working on his second 3 hitting game. He's retired to 3 hitters in the 4th, and now he's looking to do it again here in the 5th. See if he can get Shaw.
So here's Travis Shaw with a walk and an important double in that 3rd inning. But Danny, I think if you talk to him, you say, Danny, what mistake you think you made? And he would say the 0-2 pitch to Ryan Hanigan with 2 out in that 3rd inning. Hanigan singled to score, and that made it from 1-0 to 3-0.
This was it. Yep. And just a mistake he left out over.
Shaw takes a mighty rip. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Royals pen Medlin beginning to stretch. Duffy at 95, but he has been heavily taxed because of high pitch count in each and every inning, with the exception of these last 2. That breaking ball just hasn't been as consistent as we've seen it lately. His fastball has. And his slider, he does throw 25% of the time. And right after him. Line drive to the second baseman, Zobrist.
All right, Danny Duffy now retiring 7 straight batters. Use a little body language to help him.
Might be over after 5 innings, and we go to the 6th inning. Of course, that is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Connie Kaufman from Olathe. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Connie will win $800. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Connie will get $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. But why not now? Top of the order coming up. 3rd time through, facing Wade Miley and Alcides Escobar, who has 1 of the 4 hits off Miley. He gave up 2 of the 4 in the 5th inning, and the Royals had the run on the home run by Moustakas. There is a ball struck to the right side, playable for Bradley, and there's one out. Miley knew that the Royals, an aggressive team historically, second in batting in the American League at .269. They steal a lot of bases. An action team with a lot of terrific athletes. And Zobrist, both times up, he's gone after the first pitch.
See if he eyeballs a few this time.
Ball one. Just does graze the outside corner at 91. Two and one. Ben trying to extend his hit streak to 7 straight. 13 hits his last 25 at bats. And had 6 hits, 4 of them yesterday in that Cincinnati series. Fans vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you will be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. And there's one of the leaders in the clubhouse, acquired before the trade deadline. And Ben has had a terrific month of August, but you go back the last 2 months, and he has been one of baseball's best. Breaking ball called low. Hitting .344 with 25 extra base hits the last 2 months. And that was right after he came off the disabled list, where he had been on for 4 or 5 weeks with the Oakland A's because of knee pain. It's whack foul. He said the trade to Kansas City reinvigorated him. Oakland was not going anywhere, and the Athletics in last place in the American League West at 53 and 69, and then you're traded in the middle of the season to the team with the best record in the American League, and he was really enjoying it because most of his success was with Tampa Bay in their glory days, where they were in the playoffs just about every single year. Miley just rears back and then changes speeds and looks like a fastball and then dies at the end, and he gets the strikeout.
There it is. He holds that ball in the back 3 fingers there. Same arm action as the fastball, but it slows it down. And even though it was elevated, it was effective.
Yeah, he's been really good. And here's Lorenzo Cain to left center field. But getting there is the left fielder Hanley Ramirez. And that will do it for the Royals in the 6th inning. 3 up, 3 down for Wade Miley. 4-1 Boston. And it was great to see Chris win the game the other night because, Rex, it was Chris's first major league victory in almost 23 months.
Yes, but this guy, he's been there and done it. And you can just tell what's impressive about him. And so far coming back, the opponents aren't doing much. 179 is his body language and the fact that he has a quick tempo. He looks extremely confident, and his pitches have been nice. They've been crisp. He's got a good fastball, 90 to 93, not overpowering, but he's able to locate it. He's got a nice curve and an excellent changeup.
And I thought his best outing of the year was that 3 2/3 innings on August 9th against the Chicago White Sox, where you saw that same action he showed with the Atlanta Braves when he had success. Everything was down. Everything had that late life, sinking, sliding. Great command.
He's a good athlete. We saw that in Cincinnati when he dropped that beautiful bunt down, turned that into a big game-changing play.
And he'll be in the running for one of the starting spots next year when spring training begins in 2016 in Surprise, Arizona. Here is Ryan Hannigan, who has the biggest hit of the night on an 0-2 pitch from Danny Duffy. He singled up the middle, scoring both Hanley Ramirez and Travis Shaw, making it a 3-0 Boston lead. Third base Moustakas. He has time. 1 out. Our sprint cut of the game takes us back to Chris Medlin.
Why not show that nice bunt? Watch this. If you didn't see it, man, look at it. Perfect position, had the barrel up. Look at him running full. Took advantage of Matthews, who really didn't think that he had a chance to beat that out. But Matthews says, wow, look what I did. Medlin, cool, calm, and collected, just is able to go up there and throw that sacrifice bunt down the line. Perfectly placed.
And Ned, talking to him the next day, was amazed because he said, here's a guy who has not had a plate appearance in 2 years, and that pitch was up and he pulled the bat up perfectly, dropped a perfect bunt. Probably the best sacrifice we've seen this year.
Well, it just tells you what kind of athlete he is. And, you know, of course, with his National League background, he's familiar with it, but he was a good position player when he was a young amateur.
Shortstop in high school in Southern California and also in junior college, and he said he was more a reliever there, but it was the Atlanta Braves who found out, hey, you've got 4 serviceable pitches, let's make you a starter. They stretched him out, and he had excellent success with the Braves. That ball hit well down the right field side, but Rios surrounding it about 10 feet from the warning track, pulls it down for out number 2.
A lot of room in right field here at Fenway Park. I mean, when you go out there and you're playing there, you're looking all around, and you know the different caroms that are out there in right center field, and you know 380. It's really deep. A lot of room to cover here in right. Toughest place in the league for sure to play right field. It's almost like playing center field.
Now the batter, Josh Rutledge. It was about a year ago in July. The Royals, after the All-Star break, came to Boston and kind of laid an egg. In game 1, they led 4-1. Red Sox came back and rallied and won game 1 and took the series. And then the Royals went to Chicago, lost game 1. Then the Royals had their memorable team meeting. And in that meeting, Raul Ibanez, who came over in a trade from the Angels, actually picked up after he was released. But Raul Ibanez said the greatest thing, because he said, fellas, do you know what opponents say about you when you're coming into town? They're scared of you. You're a dangerous team. Let's start playing dangerous. And from that point on, the Royals did, Hud. And they had that great run in August where they actually overtook the Tigers for first place in the Central.
It was a big lift for the team, no question. Ibanez, a great leader. That nice pitch.
Oh, he painted the outside corner, and Rutledge is out, and Medlin gets the Red Sox in order. We'll see Eric Hosmer lead things off when we come back. Top 7. Eric Hosmer will lead things off. The Red Sox lead by 3, scoring a run in the first and 3 in the third. Wade Miley has been sharp, made the one mistake on an inside pitch to Mike Moustakas, who drilled it down the right field line for his 12th home run of the year. Red Sox with 7 hits, Royals with 4. Right idea going to the opposite field, and Hosmer certainly with his power to the opposite field can hit one over that green monster. He stays inside, and Haas lifts it high in the air to right center field. Jackie Bradley will make the catch. And as we talk about our DraftKings, Eric Hosmer was one of the guys where we're watching. He's 0 for 3 in this ball game. Just go to DraftKings.com and enter promo code BRoyal. Chris Archer, the Rays starting pitcher tonight, 2 innings, no runs. Suarez tonight, we saw him last night for Cincinnati, and he is staying hot. He's 2 for 2. And that new Marlin, Derek Dietrich. Here is Kendrys Morales. I tell you, when Miley misses, he doesn't miss by much.
No, but he's been teasing Morales down in the zone the whole game, and that's exactly where you want to pitch Morales. Any mistakes up, he's going to do some damage with. Change-ups, fastballs, all of it really well located.
Boy, that was a low strike.
Got to give Miley some credit. He's executing his pitches down.
And he knows that David Rackley is calling that low strike, so keep it down there, and he has. Boston trying to beat a hot Kansas City team that's been winning in the month of August, winning 12 of their 17 games and winning 10 of their last 12. They're a season high 27 games over 500.
Everything is down and in on Morales. Nothing up and away or anything. I mean, he's pitched Morales the best he's pitched to any of these guys.
Yeah, I think Miley's pitching better tonight than the performance we saw back on June 21st when he shut out the Royals for 6 innings. Staying in. Morales fouls it off. Well, when you have that kind of command and he's throwing exactly where the glove is. Just off the plate at 3-2. And Arizona really liked Wade Miley. I mean, his best year, we told you, in 2012, and that's when he won 16 games and had a terrific first half, made his first and only All-Star appearance, and that was at Kansas City. There's a line drive base hit to right field. Bradley cuts it off, and Morales gets his first knock of the night.
You see the pitch tracks before that? He was all over that grid, down and away. Now he's going to make the only really pitch that was out over the plate, even though it was down, and Morales didn't miss it.
Yeah, isn't that interesting how you were talking about he's working Morales consistently down and in, and finally went away, and Kendrick was ready for it.
It stayed out over. Still, the location was good, though. It was down, but it's out over the plate. He's not going to miss it.
Pedro Grifol, the first base coach, because Rusty Kuntz still battling with that dizziness because of the sinus infection. Grounds crew taking care of a beach ball. And there's Pedro, who's the catching instructor. Works so well with Salvador Perez. Well, here's Moose. He's the reason the Royals have a run. A solo shot his last time up. Slider, strike one. Mike had a really good series against Boston back at the K. 3 for 8. 2 of the hits are doubles. Drove in 3. But Boston's kind of had the Royals' numbers the last couple of years, as Kansas City has only won 2 of their 8 meetings.
See if Moose can get another multi-hit game. That would give him 32. He only had 17 all of last season.
Well, he's on that pitch. Let's go back to the 5th inning.
Yep. Miley tried to get a fastball in there on him, and it didn't work. That's a real nice short, quick swing. I'll tell you that. Moose, hopefully that'll get him locked in. Only the second home run given up to a lefty this year by Miley.
And now they moved Sandoval from third base all the way over to second base. He's playing in between the first baseman and the second baseman, as they have 3 infielders on the right side, and they leave the shortstop Bogarts alone on the left side.
That was the 4th homer off a lefty by Moose this year.
Morales is out at second base. Now Miley will see the right-handed bat of Salvador Perez.
Out of 17 home runs by Salvi, who's stepping in, 4 have come off of lefties. Maybe he can give him a little jolt right here. It's all up to Miley.
He leads the Royals in the power department, and he swings and misses at the first pitch fastball. But he looks a little more comfortable and a little more fresh, and quite frankly, it's because the Royals have that big lead. And HUD, in the last, 6 weeks, they have rested Salvador 11 times. Drew Butera getting their starts. In the last 10 games, Salvi hitting .333 and 1 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, we all know how many games Salvi played last year, so this has really been good for him.
A fastball changeup are the first 2 pitches he sees, and he's down in the count 0-2.
Miley and Hennigan did a great job with their pregame preparation on their plan on the Royals offense. As they know how good they are with balls up in the zone and out over the plate. They put them in play. He's been keeping the ball down. Having a great job with his mechanics. He's able to repeat his pitches. He's really doing a fine job.
This could be his final inning. He has thrown as many as 120 pitches, and that was 3 starts ago against Tampa Bay. There is a knock to right field. Moustakas rounds second, but then holds there. No reason to move with the Royals needing 3 runs to tie, and now the tying run will come to the plate in Alex Rios.
That was nice. Moustakas, about 20 steps from first, he took a peek at Jershely, the third base coach, to see if he could make it over to third base, and Jersh held him. Salvi, he didn't even know where that ball went. He thought he popped it up. Look where he's looking for it. He's saying, well, where is that? Oh, it's going to be a knock.
And it was a changeup that had late fade, wasn't even a strike.
And he cued it.
So out comes Carl Willis to talk to Miley about how he wants to work Alex Rios. You have 2 right-handers back to back, one Rios, then Orlando. Rios is 1 for 2. Orlando is 0 for 2, and they're getting Ogando up as soon as possible in that Boston bullpen. And the Royals, one of the great clutch teams in the game this year. I mean, they have had 32 come from behind victories, second most to Houston's 33. The Astros got their 33rd last night in a 13-inning win. And this is a position where Rios would really like to come through. He has had a difficult time with runners in scoring position this year, hitting under 200.
Yep, he's due for a long ball, too. It's been over a month. July 17th off Jeff Samardzija was the last time he went deep. But the way Miley's been locating down in the zone, it's going to be tough to lift one.
Well, there is a line drive, but I'll tell you, Mookie Betts had him played perfectly. He almost overran it.
Too
he
bad.
Did well.
That's a great stroke there. Betts, man, this ball almost got away from him.
League, Minnesota and Baltimore. We know what this is like. Sitting in a rain delay right now. Cleveland over New York. Texas being blanked by Detroit. That now delayed. And Tampa Bay and Houston are scoreless. Our Mazda game break takes us to Yankee Stadium. That's the team that is closest in record to the Royals for home field advantage, but Cleveland doing the damage. This is Lonnie Chisenhall with the run, scores Carlos Santana. And the Yankees right now trail in that one 3-1. Josh Tomlin is the pitcher for the Indians.
Here, Joel, it's 4-1. Boston has the lead over Kansas City in game 1 of this 4-game series. And we invite fans to join us tomorrow night on Fox Sports Kansas City. Johnny Cueto will pitch against the Boston Red Sox here at Fenway Park. Johnny Cueto against Henry Owens. Medlin retired the Red Sox in order in the 6th inning. Ground out, fly out, and strike out. Now facing Mookie Betts for the first time. He is 1 for 3. Fouled off.
That's 10 straight Red Sox being sent down. Duffy had 7 before he left the game.
Boy, they've been talking about Mookie for years. He's only 22 years old, out of Nashville, Tennessee. But a real diamond. They loved his defense, his great speed, excellent work ethic.
He was extremely impressive back in mid-June when they came to the K. I mean, he was scalding hot. 9 for 14. Couple of homers. Scored 5 runs. He was all over the bases.
He's only the second Mookie I've ever heard of. Mookie Blaylock was the first, the University of Oklahoma point guard. And now Mookie Betts.
How about Mookie Wilson?
Mookie Wilson, yeah. New York Met. There's a base hit through the whole left side. Mookie Wilson on that New York Met team that beat the Red Sox in the 86 World Series.
Moose doing all he can to get that ball. He's already gotten dirty on a couple of balls. One he could make the play on, got the force and second. The other one couldn't get it out of his glove. An infield hit by Rutledge.
Now let's see if Chris can keep that ball down, maybe get Sandoval to hit into a double play. And we already know that Chris Medlin has a good move. Back in the game we were talking about against the Chicago White Sox, he picked off Adam Eaton in the 5th inning of that August 9th game, his 10th career pickoff.
He didn't give Betts his best move there. That was just a little, I'm going to keep you close move. He's saving that one. It's a good one.
Betts that time wasn't that far off the bag.
Sixteen steals, been caught 4 times.
Sandoval trying to hit it all the way to New Hampshire. He's known as a bad ball hitter. The best bad ball hitter you and I have ever seen, Vladimir Guerrero.
Yep, but you know, Royals know all about Sandoval. They got their hands full of him in that series. He was great.
He would hit .429 against the Royals in the World Series for San Francisco, and of course made the catch. Final out of the World Series in a pop-up by Salvador in the 9th inning with Alex Gordon at third base.
He's got 3 World Series rings.
Well, they decided to go with the high heat, but he doesn't bite. He had that one game in the World Series against the Detroit Tigers where he had 3 home runs in one game, and he was that series MVP.
No, he loves it. He thrives on it. He just lives for that moment, and he's able to slow it down in the game.
Rips that one to right, but right at Rios, and 1 out. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to #KC Data Strong for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. There's a couple of Royals fans. We hope to see them at the K when we come home. next Monday through Thursday for the Baltimore Orioles. Get your tickets now because the Royals with a short homestand, just 4, and then we go to Tampa for a quick 3 and then come right back to the K. Duffy got the start, gave up 4 in his 5 innings of work through a lot of pitches. And Medlin going the last 2. He has recorded 4 outs, given up a hit to the guy at first base, Mookie Betts. At the knees. Bogarts 1 for 3. He is just the 5th major league player from the island of Aruba. Salvi, and just diving back is Mookie Betts.
So quick is that transfer from glove to hand. I mean, and he's in throwing position in a heartbeat. Doesn't give hitters a chance. And look at that feed. That perfect throw right on that second base side of first there. That's just where you want it. How's that left hand? He's able to open up his hips and get an easy, clean path to tag.
Royals had a player from Aruba, Sidney Ponson, for a little bit. Other guys were like Calvin Maduro and Gene Kingsale. They really believe that Bogarts might be the very best that comes from Aruba. There's a line drive to center field, and Boston stays hot. Everybody in the lineup, we look down at the stat sheet, every single one of them has been hot on a tear, and Bogarts stays hot. Two on, 1 out. Ortiz the batter. Fans, we want you to support the arts and come to the ballpark on Saturday, September 5th for Arts Night at the K. Pre-game festivities will take place in the outfield, featuring an array of booths from the local art scene, a live chalk artist creating a Royals-inspired mural, and live music from local music group Victor and Penny. The purchase of this discounted ticket package provides a $5 donation to the Arts KC Fund. Visit Royals.com/special events to purchase today. And of course, the Royals and Kansas City certainly proud of what we display in places like the Nelson Art Gallery, which is absolutely magnificent down near the plaza. Ortiz gets a breaking ball on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. See David do that every single swing. Tighten his gloves, spits in the gloves, slaps his hands together, and digs in.
One of the premium designated hitters over the last several years.
Did you have a routine?
Shoot, my routine was trying to find the right pair of pliers to pull the splinters out of my behind, man. I spent a lot of time at the drugstore. The Big Papi, you know, it's amazing, you know, he started his career with Minnesota. We watched him then, and they ended up letting him go, and he ends up coming to Boston and becoming a big superstar.
Isn't that amazing? Minnesota lets him go, and he goes to Boston, and he will go into the Hall of Fame, not just for what he has done during the regular season, but mainly what he's done in postseasons. What a clutch player. Good block by Salvador.
Redlands trying to use off-speed pitches down in the zone, hoping Big Papi will ground into a little double play ball here.
Yeah, Medlin does not want to go 3-2, so this is the pitch that he wants to badly make. Got him to pop up. Left field. Paulo Orlando makes the catch, and everybody holds at first and second. Hanley Ramirez came over from the Los Angeles Dodgers, has not had a good first year in Boston. And as David was telling Joel Goldberg earlier, that, you know, if you have a bad month, they get on you. And they've been on Hanley Ramirez pretty hard this year, even though he has 19 home runs and 53 RBIs. But a lot of the criticism is about his defense.
You know, this is the show, and you're talked about. And lots of times when you're in bigger cities, you know, there's a lot more scrutiny, and you just have to be able to handle it and let it go. Come out and trust your own ability.
Good job by Medlin. Escobar gets Ramirez. Medlin strands 2. The Royals trail by 3. Light, and Johnny Cueto in his last game against the Angels was outstanding, going 8 innings. His first 2 starts at the K-Rex, 1 run in 17 innings.
Yep, I saw it. Fantastic. He's been really good. He's changing his deliveries, throwing pitches all around the strike zone.
How about this?
Yeah, he's passionate. He's intense.
He looked like a bullfighter there.
He did.
And he will be on display tomorrow night. You can watch him on Fox Sports Kansas City, 6 o'clock Central Time. Johnny Cueto will match up against Henry Owens. And Paulo Orlando will start the 8th inning for the Royals, and then they'll turn the lineup over to Escobar and Zobrist. Royals have won 5 in a row. And it's the 5th time this year. They've had a streak of 5 or more wins. They opened the season with 7 straight. Boston, though, hot. They've won their last 2 and 4 of their last 6.
See if they can get Miley out of the game, but you know, it's all up to Miley. He's got to be able to cooperate and leave some cookies out. But look where he's been located. Man, Hannigan's going, where was that? It's been a strike the whole game.
Ogando continues to throw in the Boston bullpen. Good changeup. When he's missed down.
Yeah, you know, it's just been wonderful to watch him pitch and execute. We haven't seen too many pitchers deal against the Royals offense. And he's doing it with great mechanics. He's able to repeat those. And using his defense, except for that time. Paulo, good hustle.
Perhaps that's the opening the Royals need. It looked like it was out number 1 of the 8th inning. Orlando running hard, And Sandoval with a wide throw, his 13th error this year, and Kansas City has a man on with nobody out to start the 8th.
Yeah, got to pitch up. Sandoval, he just goosed the throw. Nice bubble blowing skills. And he let her go. Just like a pitcher, his front shoulder fell out on him. Pulled it off. Orlando going hard.
Now Escobar, and the ball gets away, and there goes Orlando to second base. He's safe. Got a good read with the ball in the dirt right at the feet of Ryan Hanigan.
Pablo, he's still shaking his head on that one. He better shake that one off because the next one could be coming right to him, or hopefully by him. Good read by Orlando. When you have that kind of speed and you see any ball bounce around that plate there, you have the ability to go. Look at that. He was on it.
Sandoval in at third. Escobar singled his first time up since that. He has grounded out to short, flied out to right. Foul. Not by much. We told you that the most pitches he's thrown this year, 120. 3 starts ago against Tampa Bay. He lost that game 4-3. I'm sorry, he received a no decision in a 4-3 loss.
Well, typically this many pitches thrown, you're going to start making some mistakes. But everything that's been missing has been exactly where he's wanted to, down and off the plate where hitters don't like it.
Three-two count. Escobar gets aboard. The hot guys are coming up for Kansas City. Zobrist, Kane, Hosmer, Carl Willis. Well, he's had some success against Zobrist tonight. First things first. He has not walked a Royal. 3-2 pitch. Fouled off.
He just reared back and challenged him there with a 4-seamer. Pesky a tad behind it.
Sandoval's error gave the Royals an opportunity. The wild pitch got Orlando to second base. And he may have swung at ball 4. So Escobar strikes out. And now Torey Lovullo will come on and bring on Ogando, who's been warming up in the Boston bullpen.
Again, that was a pitch that Escobar knew was coming, but he was able to keep it down and off the plate. Nice job. Heck of a game by Miley.
at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Royals all season wherever you are with the MLB.TV game of the day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. And what you can do is browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Ogando comes on. The one thing you notice, Rex, 12 home runs in only 51 2/3 innings.
Beautiful. Like to see it. Serve it up. He's got a good fastball, but it's straight at times. 93 to the upper 90s. Slider and a split finger.
He pitched well last night against Cleveland with 2 strikeouts in the 7th inning. But he has allowed 11 runs over his last 14 appearances, and that's why his ERA has gone from 2.72 to 3.83. And they have allowed more home runs as a bullpen than any team in baseball.
Well, maybe their offense has been hot, but their bullpen hasn't.
And I think that's why Lovullo went with Miley as long as he could, because he was so sharp, and he went 7 1/3 innings.
You know, that's as good a game by a lefty thrown against the Royals that I've seen in a while. Now, Danks, obviously from Chicago, has had the Royals number, but Danks is a little bit, gets away with high fastballs and things, but for Miley, executing his pitches, all of them down in the zone, is really good.
Here is Ben Zobrist. He is 0 for 3 tonight, but came up with the big home run in the 9th inning on Tuesday.
He's got to pump that bat up a little bit here. There's one down the middle, just a tad tardy on it.
Not bad. 3 for 9, 3 walks against Ogando. Miley watching from the Red Sox dugout. Got that fastball up. I think Zobrist a little upset with himself for not staying on top of it. Now the lefty Ross gets ready, perhaps for Hosmer, turn around Morales and Moustakas. Two balls, 2 strikes. Orlando reached on the air, went to second on a wild pitch. Trying to pull the Royals a little closer to Boston late in this game. Friday night, again, Johnny Cueto will pitch for Kansas City. A game you can watch on Fox Sports Kansas City. Henry Owens will go for Boston. Then on Saturday night, it's Yordano Ventura against Matt Barnes, another rookie that Boston has been showing in the second half of this year. Little bit inside.
That's a teaser, man. Good plate discipline there. Ogando shaking his head saying, how did he not swing at that? Zobrist, 7 out of his 10 home runs this season have come in the 7th inning or later.
We saw that one on Tuesday, tie the game.
He's waiting it out. Let's see.
Royals won it in 13, 3-1. Will it stay in play? Sandoval reaches in, but no, it's about 4 rows up.
Zobrist maybe can play Pepper off the Green Monster. You're going to pitch him away.
And he sends it up the middle. Takes a nice hop for Xander Bogaerts. Zobrist is out at first, moving to third. Orlando. The Royals were hoping for more. And Ogando will stay in the game to face Lorenzo Cain. Lorenzo 0 for 3, and glad he doesn't have to face Miley, who struck him out a couple of times. And breaking balls down and in. Lorenzo with 12 home runs, 54 RBIs. Ball one. Cain had a big hit yesterday in the second inning that scored 2. Gave the Royals a 4-2 lead. They would hold on to win 4-3. Game that had an hour and 40-minute rain delay. Then the game itself lasted more than 3.5 hours. By the time we jumped on the bus, it was 1:20 in the morning. Headed to the Cincinnati airport and arrived here at 4:30. So by the time we got to the hotel, it was 5 a.m. Guys might be a little weary, but Ned pushed back. The bus is leaving for the yard and did not take batting practice. Way inside, 2-0.
Well, I don't think it has to do anything with him being tired or sluggish. I just think it has all to do with Miley and the way he executed his pitches tonight, at least from an offensive standpoint.
I was just telling the itinerary of what the Royals have been through.
Yeah, and I'm just telling you the player side of it.
Making no excuses.
None, but saw a good lefty tonight.
Sure did.
They're not done.
Ball 4, so Cain is on, and we might see the lefty Ross to face Hosmer. Yep, here comes Torrey. So the Royals received their first walk of the evening. And we'll see Robbie Ross with 2 out, 2 on, tying run coming to the plate, and Eric Hosmer when we come back. .227 against him. His ERA 3.99. You see the number of strikeouts, 40 and 47 in a third, and his job, get Eric Hosmer, who represents the tying run. But Hosmer has had great success against Robbie Ross in the past. We'll check out his numbers as he's 2 for 3, including a home run. A home run would tie this game as Orlando's at third base and Lorenzo Cain at first base.
Yep, Hosmer knows that he likes to sink his fastball, but he sees a lot of big sliders from him. So he's about 89 to 94 in that range at times with his fastball. He's going to come with it first.
Ball 1.
Hannigan looked like he had a hard time with that one.
You see his numbers in the 7th inning or later. He has been awfully clutch this year. And since July 9th, coming into this game, hitting .400. 0 for 3 in this one. Maybe his last chance to continue his hit streak, which has been extended to 10 hits with the single he had yesterday. But he has struck out, grounded out, and flied out facing the lefty Miley. Two and one. That one got Hannigan.
Yeah, that hurt. Haas trying to do a little too much on this swing here. You see how he pulled that head? He swung a little bit hard on that one.
You know, Rex, you were talking about that back knee with that little shake. Almost reminds me of Joe Morgan with that chicken wing that we saw with the Big Red Machine back in the day as a timing device to help him stay closed.
Right, and that's to remind him to stay on his backside when he does that. And, you know, we haven't seen him do that till, you know, this second half of the year, and obviously it's not affecting him, and it's helping him.
And you also told me that shorter stride has helped.
Oh, it's been great. Hosmer's been able to control that front leg so well this year. The second half of the season especially, but really most of the season he's figured that out. Last year he charged hard, and when he was stepping too far, he'd step way over in here, and that would pull his head. Remember how long his stride was, and it pulled everything forward, and it really messed up his timing.
He thought that was ball 4. But David Rackley said not so fast.
Ooh. Yeah, that looked like that caught a little bit of the inside part of the plate. Hannigan, the catcher, he was expecting it on the outer half, so look for those mistakes.
So now the 3-2. And he woofs at a fastball that runs away from him. The Royals lead 2. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning at Fenway Park, Boston by 3. Price every day. by Chrysler. Enjoy your summer in style with the Chrysler Summer Clearance Event. And by AT&T Uverse high-speed internet. The Uverse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Steve Physiak, Rex Sudler, Joe Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery with you at Fenway Park. Boston with a 4-1 lead. They scored all 4 runs with 2 outs, and Danny Duffy gave up 4 in 5 innings. Mike Moustakas with a solo home run in the 5th, but that's been it, as Wade Miley was outstanding for 7 in the 3rd innings. Now in the bottom of the 8th inning, Travis Shaw. He's walked, doubled, and lined out. Very good player, All-MAC at Kent State.
Sprays the ball all around. You know, they like him, his power potential. Third baseman, but he's a better fit for the Red Sox at first.
There's a strike right at the knees. And they had a good first baseman in Mike Napoli. And Mike provided a lot of late inning drama, a lot of clutch home runs, helped them win a world championship in 2013.
He's back with the Rangers now, where he took them to the promised land.
And they may do it again.
You never know.
They're charging on the Angels and on the Houston Astros.
Can't count him out.
Denny Matthews and I were talking about what team in the American League has the best starting rotation. Well, it might be Texas now. The way their guys are pitching. Derek Holland got the victory last night. Acquired the lefty from the Philadelphia Phillies. And there is a base hit to right field, so Shaw stays hot.
Texas just 4 back tonight.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Royals. So Shaw is 2 for 3. The only out he made was the line out. He also walked with the bases loaded, and here is Hannigan. Ooh, that one got away. Tried a curveball that didn't curve. Hannigan out of Rollins College graduate. His degree was in philosophy. I think that's a pretty good degree to have if you're a catcher working with pitchers. Got to figure those guys out.
Yeah, might be the right education.
Philosophy or psychology.
Right education for him.
Nice job by Sal framing that last pitch, and Hannigan thought it was a ball. That could be 2. 1, 2.
Ah, there's a nice turn by Zobrist. Showing some quick hands. Nice little over the hand throw. Over the top. Good pitch there. Got him on an inside fastball. Watch Zobrist now. He's going to get over there at second base. He's going to come across. Make an easy routine double play.
And another good outing by Chris Medland. Strike on the inside corner. Good off-speed pitch. Late fade. Bradley out in front. Junichi Tozawa starting to warm for Boston. He has become their closer because Koji Uehara on the disabled list. Boy, they have a ton of guys on that DL, and that breaking ball missed. Clay Buchholz, Rick Porcello, Stephen Wright, 3 starters in the DL. Uehara on the DL. Of course, their great second baseman, Pedroia, is there. So Tazawa has become their closer. And he used to be a terrific 8th inning guy. There is Uehara, who has 25 saves, and Tazawa only has 1.
Yeah, you see that cast he's got on his right hand. He got a ball hit off it.
Another breaking ball that misses low. Much like Luke Hochevar, the more you see of Medlen, the more he refines and becomes more consistent with his pitches after coming back from Tommy John surgery.
And he's not all back yet.
You're right.
He looks good now. He's a lot like Hochevar. You know how they kind of worked Hoch in early in the season to where he could build up his stamina and get all of his pitches where he really wanted it. But you know, you're not going to see a lot more velocity from Medlen, but it's all about the timing and the rhythm. Same way as a hitter.
I did a game of his with the Atlanta Braves a few years ago, and Chris was absolutely pinpoint with his control, working both sides of the plate down. It was almost Greg Maddux-like, which is the greatest compliment you can give a pitcher. And look at that. That was Maddux-like. The way he painted that inside corner. Good job by Chris. 3 shutout innings. We'll see Morales, Moustakas, and Perez when we come back. Possibly being moved before the non-waiver trade deadline on August 31st. He's a guy who could play all 3 outfield spots, so he comes on and replaces Hanley Ramirez in left. And the closer is Junichi Tazawa, 53rd game this year, 3.18 ERA. And Rexy recorded his first save of the year last night with a 1-2-3 ninth against Cleveland.
Well, look at that 15.9 ERA in closing situations, so he can give it up. There it is, 15.19 in save situations. He's got a low to mid-90s fastball. He likes to sink it, slider, and he's got a split finger. He'll mix in a curveball too, but that split finger is a pitch he likes to go to when he gets 2 strikes on a batter.
Well, the Royals go Morales, Moustakas, Perez, and then they have Rios and Orlando, and the guys on the bench are Dyson, Butera, and Infante.
Rusty, we miss you. Yeah. How about some chicken soup?
Your neighbor's kid saying hello.
Yeah.
He is the best.
Yeah, get well, buddy. We miss him.
Morales 1 for 3. Singled his last time up. Now batting from the left side for the first time this evening after facing Miley first 3 times, and a breaking ball outside corner, well thrown.
Nice little get me over curve, strike one. Now the defense in the infield is going to shift over. Sandoval going to second base. Well, he's going on that side of the bag. You see the swung over infield over there on the right side.
That little hesitation that Tazawa has right over his balance point before releasing and getting a swing and a miss.
We were talking about that. All the Japanese-born pitchers that usually have some kind of delay in their motion, some kind of deception to try to throw the timing off of the hitter.
Hitting is timing, pitching upsetting timing. Out of play. Last 2 innings, the Royals have had good opportunities. They've had the tying run at the plate in the 7th and also the 8th. With Rios with the line out to end the 7th. And Ross, the lefty, came on and struck out Hosmer with runners in the corners to end the 8th. Good pitch there.
Split finger. Okay, let's check it out. Now he's see how he's got those his fingers split, and what that pitch is designed to do is exactly that. It looks like a fastball with a spin, and then the bottom falls out. And you know he'll mess with his glove fingers, you know, when he's come set. And he'll wiggle those fingers to try to, again, deceive the hitter from able to pick up. See, and Morales is telling him about that right now. That's what hitters do. So, you know, he'll do that on every pitch. And see that little cover he's got over his finger there. That also is to protect him from not tipping his pitches. Hitters watch every little thing. I told you, Morales was going in there telling his other teammates what he's doing and what to look for.
Tazawa looks sharp in this 9th inning, striking out Morales, now getting Moustakas down 0-2.
It's not a changeup, it's a splitty. See how that it's got some good action to it. Now there's a difference between a split finger and a fork ball. Fork balls, you spread your fingers even wider on that ball, and it has a tumbling effect, and hitters can see that movement better than they can with a split finger. You just don't split your fingers as much as wide on the ball. And that's a field pitch. But, you know, he's been pitching for a long time, and he knows how to use it and when to use it. With 2 strikes on hitters, he tries to get him to swing over the top of it.
That is a pitch that has changed a lot of careers and led them to success. Jack Morris had a great split finger pitch. Bruce Sutter, the closer. Moose lines it sharply, but right at Mookie Betts, and there is out number 2. And a reminder, Joel and Monty will be along with Boulevard Royals Live after the ball game to discuss game 1 of this 4-game series. And they'll remind our fans that tomorrow night here at Fenway Park, Johnny Cueto will be pitching for Kansas City as the Royals try and take game 2. Boston scored a run on a bases loaded walk in the 1st inning, then scored 3 times off Danny Duffy in the 3rd. The big hit was a single by Ryan Hannigan. An 0-2 count with runners in 2nd and 3rd that drove in 2. The rest was Wade Miley. Strike 1. Miley allowed just 1 run in 7 1/3 innings, and that 1 run, a home run, a solo blast by Moose back in inning number 5. It up. Instead, it's down. Bogarts cuts it off. And game 1 is history. Boston beats Kansas City by a final score of 4-1. Tuzawa gets the save, his second of the year, and Hannigan, the catcher, with the big hit. We'll come back and talk more about this one right after this.